When my boss's car arrived to my girlfriend's house, I was astonished. Hello again, and welcome back to another Reddit cheating story. Before we begin, please subscribe and click the notification bell so you don't miss another cheating story when it gets live. I was working at a packing plant around 22 years ago, and I had recently concluded a 4-year long-term relationship in which I had been cheated on. I kicked her to the curb and began dating again. At work, I met this recently divorced girl who worked as the receptionist. We started seeing each other because she was cute and a lot of fun. Everything was going swimmingly, but I wasn't committed to anything long-term. She dropped clues about moving in together, and I'd never be able to pull the trigger with her. Something wasn't right. We became extremely busy at work, and I volunteered for as much OT as I could to supplement my income. I worked in the nights, and my staff was small and close-knit. One of my guys told me one night that he observed my boss's automobile at my girlfriend's apartment complex. I knew something was wrong because he lived around 30 miles away. I had worked for him the previous weekend, and my girlfriend had gone to the casino that weekend since I had been called in. Lol, I had a feeling something was wrong. So I approached her door and knocked. She inquired, "Who is it?" "It's me, sweetie," I said. "I came by to see how you were doing." I only had a few moments. He was nowhere to be found when she opened the door and allowed me in. I motioned for him to leave, and he did. I inquired as to what was going on and how long it would take. They claimed to have been hooking up for around 2 weeks. My employer, who had recently divorced, was having a terrible time with his ex. Up until this time, I had felt terrible for him. I explained that I didn't like the high school nonsense and that it didn't matter if he saw her. If he wanted a turn, he could have simply told me and we could have dealt with it as adults. He apologized, and I told him I didn't want this to interfere with my OT. I was still eager to work as many weekends as possible. He said, "No problem." I never acknowledged the presence of my soon-to-be ex. She instantly vanished and became deafeningly silent in my presence. She continued to try to catch my attention and apologize, but I never responded in any manner. My boss had been dating this gorgeous young girl about 20 who worked at the facility between his ugly divorce and my girlfriend. She asked me what was going on a few days later at work. When I informed her what had happened, she was upset. I told her that it was a good thing she found out now before it became worse. She suggested we go out and annoy them. That's what we did. And she was a weirdo. I had a great time with her. One of my employees asked me how my date went one day in the office while my supervisor was there. I told him it was fantastic and maybe the best exchange I'd ever done. There are no regrets. My employer simply stood up and went away. We didn't talk about anything other than business for approximately 2 weeks. We marketed employees' sales to employees on Fridays. Employees would go to the receptionist, pay, and receive a ticket to come to us, where we would serve them their food. My supervisor said, "Hey, I'm going to take these 10 boxes, 10 pounds, and pay for them on the way out." The exit road passed straight by the receptionist's office, allowing me to observe if he had paid or not. He didn't do it. I drove right by. Because he appeared to make this decision on the spur of the moment, I called the plant accountant and asked him to look through the cash box and tickets to see if there were any for my boss. I was afraid my ex would just fill out the tickets and have them ready, and we wouldn't be able to capture her till the box was empty. Because no citations had been issued, he simply got in trouble and was finally fired. Later, she was being questioned, and she appeared to be short in the cash box, but she couldn't be sure. As a result, someone came in and paid for dinner with a $100 bill. They knew she was skimming because there were no major orders done the rest of the day that would have required $100 as change, and because the $100 bill was gone from the box at the end of the day. She was dismissed for her actions. As department supervisor, I took over for boss. I got rid of a cheating girlfriend, had freaky sex with his ex, and got to boast about it in front of him. Got rid of the same dishonest employer, fired 2 thieves, earned a promotion, and yet got to keep my OT. Things don't always go as planned for me, but that was priceless. Here are some of the greatest comments from the community. Honestly, despite everything you accomplished, it was your dismissal of your ex's existence in the midst of her cheating that had me rallying behind you. Bravo. You didn't give her the attention she needed to cheat, for better or for worse. You didn't contribute to it. Instead, you took the long route and kicked her ass in 4-dimensional chess. Sir, my hat is off to you. I hope she felt as little as a gnat when you showed her you could completely dismiss her like she utterly discarded the relationship so callously. I hope that moment is permanently etched in her mind and that she will always regret the mistakes she made, because not all would-be victims receive the vengeance they deserve. I hope you serve as a call to future survivors of infidelity to discover the fortitude and courage to move on from their errant husbands or jaded partners and redirect that love, energy, and strength towards oneself. Thank you for your contribution. So if you wanted to buy some beef off the street, you go to the office and visit my ex. She accept your money and then hand you a ticket with a carbon copy. She kept one and gave the other to the buyer. The buyer would bring the copy to me and collect their meat, and I would take the ticket and hand it over to the ex. She matched the tickets in cash. They would still be skimming if he hadn't taken that product. I don't believe this is the case. She wanted to marry and have children, whereas I had no plans to marry. In reality, I didn't marry for another 6 years. She reasoned that because he was freshly single and my employer, he had more money and potentially greater possibilities, and he desired a marriage. It's too bad, it's so sad. I only stopped by a couple times a week to finish a piece, her words, not mine. Lol. And she was correct. But we were mutually exclusive, and if it wasn't working for her, she should have said something about it. Yes, everything of that makes sense. When I submit to this subreddit, I usually concentrate on the physical aspects of cheating. I've already talked about the one time I cheated on my girlfriend, and it was entirely focused on the physical act. She was also deceiving. It lasted approximately 36 hours. It was only physical, however, there was some laughter and nice food in the hotel room. So I sometimes forget that individuals come to this site to express their emotions, betrayal, and so on. I didn't have an emotional attachment to her. Although it was only physical, we were supposed to be mutually exclusive. I didn't like the high school creeping around of two folks in their 30s. It didn't make sense to me. The act of treachery reveals a fault in character that demonstrates a sense of entitlement and selfishness that irritates me in any way. I am a jerk from sunup to sundown, but I will not betray you unless you betray me in this manner. If you commit a crime, I will not keep you in confidence, but when it comes to personal matters or shared secrets, I will never betray you. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe and put on the notification bell if you want to hear about any future cheating stories.